5 chatterboxes, 1 very mysterious blue box. You know what time it is? Chatterbox!
Oh my goodness, here we go.
Let's see what's inside this box this week.
Boy, that shit, the finky still.
I know, right?
It's
All right.
finky.
Not all of us are well endowed in that
Oh,
area.
wow. This is a good one.
What is it?
To vote or not to vote? That is the question.
Ding, ding,
Personally,
ding. Election time.
Can we start with Debbie on this one?
Why do you want to start with me on this question?
Because we don't ever start with you.
Of course, you always do. Well, if you don't start with me, normally let's chime in. I don't know. It's like I understand the notion of if you don't vote, I've heard the notion if you don't vote, you don't have a voice. But I think that it is much more than that. No, we live in a world where things have become just much more than politics. And for us individually as well, it's much more than governance, and it's much more than who is in charge of your country. It has more become who is in charge of me. And so I don't really rely on my government to dictate how it is that or where my future will go then. If you understand what I'm saying.
Good point.
Well, you know what? I feel like you need to exercise the right to vote. So that means getting enumerated. And if you choose not to go out and actually dip your finger and cast your vote, then that's also saying something. You're actually saying, I don't see an option, or I don't. But you must be enumerated so they know you exist and that you have a voice and that you're choosing.
That's my position, though.
Not to.
Like, that's exactly how I
Yeah, I
feel.
get
My
that,
thing is,
right.
I absolutely disagree with the same notion that Debbie mentioned, that if you don't vote, your voice don't count. I think that's absolutely untrue, because voting means you are choosing something, and why you're just going to choose something because you must choose something and you don't believe in what you're choosing? Because that's the reason why I don't vote. Well, to answer the question, to vote or not to vote, I don't vote. But I don't vote because nothing that is presented to me to vote on represents me, or represents anything that I believe in, or represents anything that I feel is going to be for the betterment of what's happening around me or my community.
But the issue is that when you exercise this right to not vote, are you even enumerated? No.
And that's why.
Okay, so when you exercise that right not to vote, and you say that you want to make the decisions for yourself and that sort of a thing, it's great. But you have people deciding your future for you.
There you go.
You give that power to everybody who does
else.
vote. Because what happens is once they vote and they are in the system and they elect these leaders then make choices that have you in mind. You are someone who wants to make money. You're only about like making sure that your family has enough and that you'll go forward and be successful and do all these things. Except the government can tax you to the point of you not having anything to take home, right? They can do that. They can decide not to educate a certain sect of society. In many other countries, there are girls that cannot go to school.
No, but those decisions are being made right now without our vote.
Right.
Like even here, like
and
let's
if you're
talk about
okay
Jamaica.
with that,
exactly.
No, I'm not okay with that. But that's not a decision. The government doesn't run an election when they want to raise taxes. They don't say, okay, let's find out how the people feel about us increasing taxes. They decide that they're going to increase taxes. And it's not even a party thing. It's not A party or B party. It's whoever is in charge decide that, amongst themselves that, okay, we're going to increase the tax from 5% to 10%. They don't come to the public and run an election and say, okay, what do you think about us increasing taxes from 5 to 10%?
Hold on, no,
But they ran the election. They run the election for you to choose if they get to make those decisions.
Right.
No,
and what they would raise the taxes and use it for. So if you are someone
but that is not
decided
based on the election, though.
Pardon me?
That is not a elected. That is not a point. That you get to vote on as an elector in public.
Hold on. When someone is going to run for election, what they should do is present to the public what they intend to do once they are in power.
And they do that. But then what do they do when they're in power?
Okay, so you are frustrated with the fact that maybe they say they're going to do something and they
That's
don't.
exactly what happens.
So then let me tell you, that they don't get into power.
A lot of my friends, they are over politics, and I'm going to use politics, not even government, but politics being a tit for tat more than guys. We have a situation. What are we going to do about it, kind of thing? Because I am over this long, drawn out session inside this place where everybody gets to put up a point, but then it becomes one big quarrel and a fight over ego and pride. And not, okay guys, there is a drought. What are we going to be doing? Because we're an island here, right? We have water.
Wood and water.
By water.
You understand what I'm saying? We also have a lot of gifted people in universities who are scientists and environmentalists and biologists and whatever. They can come up with a way to eradicate some of these problems. You understand what I'm saying? It becomes more of a, you over there, so me over here, so and not really about
and then it's not about us,
not in the interest of the people.
And that's the reason why, for me, G, I mean, yes, I get them taxing and them instituting certain laws about education that may hamper where I'll go in the future, but it's also up to me as well, especially in this age of 2015, 2016, where things are so open and accessible, to dictate where I go with my life.
But then is it that you don't need the government? Is it that you're saying it's up to you and you don't need a government?
I'm not saying I don't need a government. I'm just saying I need a government that works.
So how do you achieve that? How do you intend to achieve that?
No, but hold on, they paused a little bit. So, what happened to your mouth?
Yeah, Daddy.
Them charge the tax on them out this evening.
Yeah, it looks so.
World peace.
That is right.
Not buying it, Danique. Not buying it.
World peace.
I'm just saying, I just need one. If it mean a combination of the both of them, let's solve some problems, man. Solve some issues. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm right there.
I am tired of this a person that say you post too much on Instagram. This year one I say you're too
and it's
you're
not
awful
it
to
has
the people.
nothing, and there are issues. There are issues
there are
that
so
I
many.
personally have a lot of issues with. And issues, I have issues. You heard that, and right? So, but and there are a lot of things that I think we need to address.
Yes,
However,
urgently.
I don't think it's something that is going to be solved by us voting. And I mean, that only voting.
No.
I think what needs to happen is, as a people, we need to find a point where we start to put heads together.
Right.
Because as a people, we are very powerful, and put our heads together and make things happen, and not depend on the government to make things happen for us, because that's not happening.
No, but that's what the process is actually supposed to be.
I love the process. You say supposed to, you say should.
Yeah.
These are all words meaning.
Yeah.
Right, but it's not happening if we decide to get fatigued and don't do anything about it.
No, I agree, and that's what I'm saying. But what I think we should do has nothing to do with the electoral process. What I think we should do is me and you and Debbie and the whole of we use up and chat about sitting and say, all right, look here.
Make a farm a government.
School down the road. No,
exactly.
A little basic school down the road.
Exactly.
To start out, how can we put our hands and hearts together and make it happen?
Right,
And then we go, I will call Danique because she has enough money. Say, Danique, we got money, and then he give us the money.
But we pay
and
taxes. We pay taxes,
of
though.
Course.
So what is that for?
We don't get paid taxes, then techie.
And what is it for? It should be so that basic
should.
school.
Yes, it should.
It should
Yes,
be.
it should.
But
it's not happening.
But we're not holding them accountable after we
that's
vote
the
because
point.
we're not voting.
There's the
No, but it's
important
not
word.
voting holding them accountable. What holds them
Accountability.
accountable? Yeah, but it's not the voting that holds them accountable. What holds them accountable is when, I'm not going to call any names right now, but there are ministers in power now who have gotten responsibility to spend money a certain way, and the money wasn't spent, and they don't have the money. What they were supposed to do with the money has not been done.
But why aren't you holding them accountable?
No, but it's not our job. All right.
Yes, it is our job. It is our
Okay,
job.
all right. Okay, fine. It's our job. How would you hold Minister X, that minister that I just described, Minister X, how would you hold him responsible from where you're sitting?
We would all have to say something. We have to use our voices.
No,
but we count when we
everything
vote.
when these in the
If
papers.
I voted you in power, I can vote you out of power.
Really?
And
Yes.
I should be able to
Prove
hold
it.
you accountable too.
Right.
Prove it.
Excuse me?
Prove it.
My vote alone won't count.
Okay.
And that's it.
That's the reason
Me
I'm just
alone
saying.
voting
Once
won't
you've reached, once it's gotten to a point where everything just remains the same, it's almost like.
What's the point?
But then we can't
Let me
allow.
move
We
on.
can't
We
allow
need a
that.
future.
We can't allow that minority, which in Jamaica right now, it is a minority of voters. We can't allow that minority to.
All right, and that's a wrap on